Welcome to the weekend market review for the week ending on 9th December 2022. First, a disclaimer. I am not a SEBI registered analyst or advisor. Whatever information presented in this video is purely for educational purpose and it is not a recommendation for any buy or sell. First, let's look at the Nifty and other indices. Also, please note, due to personal commitments and lack of time, I put together this video in a hurried manner. So some of the information may be lacking. So kindly bear with that. First, let's look at the Nifty chart. During the last week, we saw some weakness toward the end of the week, and then we concluded that weakness may continue and this Nifty may test the demand line drawn here. As you can see, this demand line was tested, but now it is broken below that demand line as well. You can see for most of the part of the week, the move lacked momentum. It was a sluggish down move, but on Friday we saw a very widespread bar, but the volume was low and the close was on the lower half of the bar, not really at the low, but on the lower of the bar, and we have a substantial tail which shows that the supply did come when the demand did come at the lower levels. Now if you look at the overall market buy and sell volumes here, you can see on Friday the selling dominated here and the overall market volume was very high. It was one of the highest in the recent past. But the selling was not very dominant because it was only 1.3 times the buy volumes and the declines were 3 times the advances. Now, if you look at the wave chart, you can see the sell wave in terms of volume was the highest in the last 2.5 months. So the sell waves are getting little more dominant here. So there is indeed weakness in the market. Now let's look at the overall market here. We saw that overall market volume was very high. So you can see that the NSE 500 chart shows clearly that the broader market, the volume was quite high, and so that means the selling was also quite high in the overall market. But the bar structure remains the same like the Nifty. You can see some demand coming at lower levels. So obviously, let's look at the mid cap. You can see the mid cap volume was huge compared to the average here. And here again the bar structure is small, but the tail is much longer here, showing that there was indeed support coming at lower levels. Similar structure is seen in the mid cap 150. The small caps, the bar structure is similar. There was still demand coming at lower levels, but it was a very wide spread bar. Unfortunately, I don't have the volume here. But now it is clear that overall market saw much higher selling and much more volume was done compared to the Nifty, which was showing low volumes. So going back to the chart of the Nifty, we have this level of 18350, which was the last acceptable level before the up move. So now this could provide us a good support here. So most probably the Nifty will test these levels before moving sideways or up. In case this level is broken, the next crucial level is 1896, but most probably 18350 is likely to hold in the coming week. Now, let us look at the sectoral performances. Before we go into the daily time frames, let's look at a broader view on the weekly time frames. We have seen that the last quarter or 3 months, we have seen that banking sector has been doing well, whereas the auto has been going down. You can see from this chart, it has been going down here. Similarly, the consumption sector as well has been going down. The energy sector was down. We can see slightly some improvements, but it is still underperforming. The financial services is outperforming now, but you can see there's not much strength here, but it's still an outperformer, slightly performing better than the overall market. FMCG, you can see it was doing well, and the last 1 month it has become weak and it's become an underperformer. Now it is sort of flattening out here, but still it is an underperformer. Infra, you can see a lot of improvements coming in infra, and the media sector, of course, has been an underperformer. It is going down further. Similarly, the MNCs are started underperforming, and it is getting weaker now. The metal sector, of course, had a dip, and now it is slightly bouncing back here. You can see the change here. The pharma, briefly, it went to uh, outperformer. Now it is again going back into an underperformer. The real estate sector is lackluster, and as we can say, flip flop, and it is not performing well. The service sector has been outperformer, and it has been improving actually. And off late, it is sort of flattening out. IT, of course, you can see became from a big underperformer, it became a outperformer, but of late it has been sort of tapering down here. Now let's go into the daily time frames. I've put the chart of the weekly here as well, just for comparison. The Bank Nifty has been an outperformer on the weekly time frames, but last week we saw a dip in the Bank Nifty performance. Now it is slightly improving, as we can see. It dipped down and then it is improving now. The autos was weak in the longer time frame. In the shorter time frame as well, it is weak and it is lagging. Some improvements were seen, but now it is lagging now. The consumption sector is again weak. Energy sector, temporary, it became good and now it is going down here. But in the longer time frames, you can see some improvements. Financial services, in the shorter run, it has been underperformer, and off late, of course, you can see some improvement here, but on the longer term, it is still an outperformer. FMCG, you can see good improvement coming in, and that is clearly shown in the weekly chart as well. Infra has been, for the last 3 weeks, it has been performing well. Media is also performing, but on the weekly time frame, you can see it is flattening. Metal of late, the last week it did well, and on the weekly also it is sort of flattening out, but on the lower time frames it is improving. MNCs, you can see the improvement. PSU banks, for some time it became weak and now again it has started performing. The services sector is becoming weak, you can see in the lower time frames, and in the higher time frames you can see it is flattening out and coming down. And the IT sector, in the longer time frames or the higher time frames, you can see it was going down, and that is also reflected in the lower time frames. It has gone now to a underperformer. For the coming week, the basic FMCGs, infra, media, metal, and the MNCs and the PSU banks are likely to do well. And you can see some improvements in the Nifty as well. This is how the various sectors performed. Now we will look at some of the individual charts for the selected sectors. First, let's look at the chart of Bank Nifty. As you can see, the movement has been higher only, and there are good volumes coming in here. But you can notice that the volatility has been quite low here. You can see only small spread bars. There's no wide spread bars here, or there's no big momentum bars here. It is all moving up in small steps here. We did see some weakness on Friday. You can see the very high volume and the narrow spread bar closing in the middle, indicating there has been supply, but most of it has been absorbed, looks like. So the Nifty, Bank Nifty is still strong, and you can expect it to movement to continue here. So let us now look at another chart. Let us say auto sector. Let's take the auto sector. The auto sector, you can see the overall movement has been more of sideways for the last 4 or 5 months here. Right now, you can see some weakness. We made a lower high here, and this level is crucial here. If it breaks below 12,688, you could see it testing the 200 DMA. And right now, it is below the 3 short-term averages. So it is overall it is weak. Now let me move to IT sector. You can see IT saw a big fall on Friday. You can see a widespread effort to move down bar, and the volume was quite high. So now it is in the support zone. Below that, it will spell weakness. It's already broken the demand line. So once this is broken, the next support could be coming around this region here. It is about 28500. So you can expect much more weakness coming in the IT sector. Quick look at the PSU banks. PSU on Friday saw some weakness, an upthrust bar on very high volume. So you can expect weakness coming in here because you have seen a steep up move here. The index almost doubled here, you can say, or rather 1.5 times, and you can see an upthrust bar on very high volume. So we can see some retracement in most of the PSU banks in the coming week. Quickly look at pharma. Pharma is again very weak. It broke below the support zone here 12754, and on Friday it did come back into the support zone. If this is broken, we will see much more downside here. So pharma is still weak. Let's look at metal sector. It has been, of course, moving up. On Friday, we did see an upthrust bar here, but the pseudo upthrust bar here, you can see the volume has been low here. So it may test into this last support zone here. So some weakness can be seen in the coming week for the metal sector. FMCG, it has been going well here, as you can see the up move, but the volumes have been a little low, but you still have bullishness here. Financial services, the only weakness we can see is it has been moving sideways. The bars are narrow, no momentum bars. Even though the volumes are high, it is not able to push up the prices. So that's where the weakness is here. But we don't see much downside here. It may move more sideways here. Media has been weak for the last 1 week. Infra was doing well, but we saw weakness on Thursday. But the volume has been low, so the weakness not pronounced. So may see some little dip before moving up here. So the sectors to avoid now is basically IT, pharma. You can look at Bank Nifty, financial services, metals, FMCG. These are the service sectors which one may look at for the coming week. Thank you for watching this video. I hope the information presented in this video is useful to you. In order to get notified for release of the future review videos, do subscribe to this channel. In case you find this video useful, please do press the like button.